In the first section, we are going to be talking about the classification of triangles and various triangle theorems. Classifying triangles by size, we have a scalene triangle, isosceles triangle, and an equilateral triangle. Scalene has no congruent sides, isosceles has 2 congruent sides, and equilateral has all 3 congruent sides. Acute has angles that contain an angle measured less than 90 degrees. A right triangle has 1 right angle. The obtuse has 1 angle that is greater than 90 degrees, while the equiangular has all 3 congruent angles. Triangle sum theorem states the sum of the measures of the interior angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. The exterior angle theorem states the measure of an exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of the measures of the 2 non-adjacent interior angles. Third angle theorem. If 2 angles of a triangle are congruent to 2 angles of another triangle, then the third angles are also congruent. Reflexive, symmetric, and transitive. Triangle ABC is equal to triangle ABC reflexive. If ABC equals DEF, the DEF equals ABC, symmetric. If ABC equals DEF and DEF equals JKL, then ABC equals JKL, transitive.
In this next section, 4.3, we will be going over rigid motion. A rigid motion is a transformation that preserves length, angle measure, and area. This is a translation. This is a reflection. And this is a rotation.
In section 4.4, you will learn how to prove triangles congruent by using SSS, or the side-side-side congruence postulate. The side-side-side congruence postulate states, if 3 sides of one triangle are congruent to 3 sides of a second triangle, then the 2 triangles are congruent. In section 4.5, we learn to prove triangles congruent by SAS and HL. The side angle side congruence postulate states, if 2 angles in the included angle of one triangle are congruent to 2 sides in the included angle of a second triangle, then the 2 triangles are congruent. In a right triangle, the sides adjacent to the right angles are called the legs. The side opposite the right angle is called the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse-leg congruence theorem states, if the hypotenuse and the leg of a right triangle are congruent to the hypotenuse and the leg of a second right triangle, then the 2 triangles are congruent. In section 4.6, you will learn how to prove triangles congruent by using the angle-side angle congruence postulate, or ASA, and the angle-angle-side congruence theorem, or AAS. The angle-side angle congruence postulate states if 2 angles in the included side of one triangle are congruent to 2 angles in the included side of a second triangle, then the 2 triangles are congruent. The angle-angle-side congruence theorem states if 2 angles and a non-included side of one triangle are congruent to 2 angles in the corresponding non-included side of a second triangle, then the 2 triangles are congruent. In this section, 4.7, all you have to remember is CP, CTC, corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. In this section, 4.8, you have to know the base angle theorem. This states, if two sides of a triangle are congruent, then the angles opposite them are congruent.